Hey, it's Couch Potato making a video here. I am back from a fun-filled weekend up at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Well, Oaks, Pennsylvania, actually, at the Too Many Games video game convention. Had a blast. There was a lot of cool people there, a lot of cool vendors, a lot of games, a lot of people in cosplay, a lot of stuff going on, and it was just a fun-filled weekend. And if you were there, I hope you enjoyed it as much as me. If you weren't there, hopefully you can get there next year. And for anyone who hasn't experienced a convention or anyone who just wants to relive the convention if they were already at the convention, I wanted to make a video showing the convention and what goes on and what is sold there and stuff like that. Just giving you the overall experience of Too Many Games. So I clipped a I clipped my phone camera onto my backpack and I walked around the convention and I filmed all the great games that were there, people in cosplay, all kinds of stuff. So I didn't have much control over the camera, so sorry if it's not like, professional quality, but I wanted to present a video showing the Too Many Games convention and the experience. It's a lot of fun. If you didn't make it, I highly recommend going to it next year. Make a vacation out of it or a trip out of it or something. If you don't live close by, make a whole vacation out of it. Like what you're going to do at the convention and then not at the convention, stuff like that. Like, it's just a great time. If you're into video games or if you're a collector or anything like that, it is definitely an experience you want to have. So, without any further ado, we'll get into it because it's about 28-minute video and it does end abruptly. So, I'm sorry. I thought I had more footage, but I tried my best with my video editing skills that are not very good. So here we go. Let's go check out the video game. I can't even talk right. So let's just get to the video.
All right, so here's the entrance to the convention. You're greeted right away by the Too Many Games booth selling their merch. They did have some cool shirts from the previous years, so if you missed the last couple years, you could purchase them. And we were just looking around, taking everything in at first. So we'll fast forward here. And here comes the first game booth that we went to. Forgotten Freshness, looks like. And they had a bunch of games, bunch of like cheap games in the bins. You notice a lot of these booths, they'll have that bins that are open and you can like sort through the games and they'll be, available to you. And so we were looking through those. I was looking for cheap survival horror games or cheap Xbox 360 games that, I might speculate on going up in price. And then we started getting to the real meat and potatoes of these conventions, the pricier games. A lot of the high end games, good condition games, get taken up within the first day because a lot of people are waiting, you know, to get their games that they've been waiting for. So if they had like a game on their list that's expensive and they were ready to pay for it at this convention, the first day all those games get taken, or most of them anyway. So we were looking at Nintendo, had a bunch of like Nintendo games that were expensive. Little Samson, was really big a couple years ago at the convention. It was like the game at that time. I think it was like 2017 when I started going. So yeah, you just see the back walls are filled with tons of games. A lot of box stuff, a lot of consoles. All right, so here comes the booth that I bought the Silent Hill 1 off of. And I waited till Sunday and it was still there and it's a very good copy. So I'm surprised it didn't sell. But I guess because it was a small booth at the end. So I was like, made a deal with them, got a few bucks off, and I got my Silent Hill 1. It's in excellent condition. This booth, their prices were a little high. I don't know if they were just hoping that you would, you know, haggle with them. Maybe they lower the prices. I didn't try because all the prices were expensive. Like, if you're at about eBay, that's cool, whatever. But when you're like $25 over eBay, like, who's going to buy from you? Like, seriously. So here we have another booth. There's booths everywhere at this convention. So it's just games everywhere. And sometimes you get lost of like what you looked at already, what you didn't look at. So here was a bunch of like cheap games. And I love looking through all the cheap games a lot of times. Sometimes you might find the hidden gem in there or, you know, something mispriced. So I always try to look through those. We were talking about the Nomad in the back. I have a modded Nomad here at my house and has an LCD screen, really nice console. I loved how the old Sega systems like stack on each other and it's like Transformers, the old Sega Genesis stuff. Oh yeah, the brick Game Boys we were looking at, the originals. I used to love the one I had. I wish I had a video of when I got my first Game Boy. Um, my parents can tell you too. They gave me a Game Boy for my birthday, I think it was one year. I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe. 6 or 7, I don't know. I was young. And I just remember going nuts, absolutely nuts, running around the house holding my Game Boy box up, saying I couldn't believe they got it for me because they kept telling me no. And then they got me the Game Boy. It was like the best reaction to opening a present ever. And from then on, I was just a gamer for life. So yeah, all these bulk games, we love looking through those. I think I was pointing at Crusader No Remorse for PlayStation. Pretty fun game. We were talking about Diablo Strategy Guide, which I still have here at the house. Diablo 2, I mean. My brother was saying who would who would make a game like that. And then his friend was like, you need the robot, Robbie the robot, to play it or whatever. Then we got more Nintendo games. Nintendo games definitely weren't as plentiful as years past, so it seems like the Nintendo craze is starting to fade away. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of Nintendo collectors out there, but like overall, I felt like this was the year with the least amount of Nintendo games. Now, this booth had a ton of them, but they also had the graded games, stadium events. There's one pending sale. There's a couple games in there that were like 6,000, 8,000. I think that white cartridge was 6,000. All right, here we go to more bins. We usually have a plan going through these conventions. Like we go around the outside and then go through the middles. But this time we were kind of all over the place. It was just kind of like what we could get in and what. There was a lot of people there. So some of the booths were cramped. So we had to bypass them and go back. Now, this booth right here was interesting. They'd have a bunch of like cheap games and then randomly an expensive game mixed in. I don't know if they did that on purpose to give kind of like a treasure hunt feel or something, but I was like a bunch of $5 games and then all of a sudden there was $100 game. I was like, what's the rhyme and reason to this? And then there's a lot of like art and gadgets and trinkets that they sell. My brother was making fun of his friend, saying he was get him that sticker for buying lunch. And then there's Panorama. I don't even know what they're called, like 3D pictures. I like those a lot. It was cool being able to walk around with my. It was cool to walk around with my camera and take video of this, show you guys what goes on. I love watching videos like this, so hopefully you like it too. These are coasters that had like game designs put on them and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool. Oh yeah, Super Street Fighter. I used to play that so many days, so many hours. I'm not good at fighting games, but I love playing them. I usually play against the computer on like a easier setting, just so I can do the moves and all. A lot of booths will buy, sell, or trade games with you. I mean, they're kind of used to it. So don't be afraid to bring games to trade. It definitely happens. It definitely works. I did it. My brother did it. This booth is always there. It always has a bunch of consoles and like rare consoles and accessories and stuff you can buy. And there's more NES games. I remember it was like 2017, I think, and NES was like still hot. And there was like NES games everywhere. But this year it was more PS1, PS2, a lot of 360 and PS3. A lot of Switch stuff was there. So it's definitely changing. I think that's just the ebbs and flows of collecting. Like a lot of people who were into Nintendo before are getting out of it now or already have what they need. So on to the next console, or the kids that grew up, they kids growing up now didn't play Nintendo, so they don't have the nostalgia for it. So they're more into the PS1, PS2. These were like reproduction carts, games that have like English patches that were released in Japan. I always like that kind of stuff. I always wanted a Streets of Rage 2 that had like the Simpsons in it or Ninja Turtles in it. Yeah, I really want to get a copy of that at some point. I just think it's cool. All right, so here we got more Sega games, Nintendo. There was Nintendo, but not as much as before. And also, I was looking for a new double disc single case for PS1, and there's only a few games that had it because my Resident Evil 2 had a cracked case and it had like all the sticker residue on it. So I was looking this whole convention for a Resident Evil or a double disc jewel case that wasn't like one of those thick ones. It was just a single jewel case. I finally found one. Had to pay $8 for the game just to get the case, but well worth it in my opinion to have a very clean copy of Resident Evil 2. Though it's a greatest hits, so I might end up selling it and getting the black label just because I like black labels better. And more box consoles, more of those little like Tiger handhelds. I remember having a few of those growing up. So I'm listening to the audio of the video playback while I'm talking. So if I stutter or pause or whatever, that's why I'm listening to what's going on. But he just said that vendor looks like he would sell that game for $5 and a bag of some drugs. Another thing I love about these conventions is the people that come to them that like dress up in cosplay, or like just seeing the different type of like shirts and bags that people wear. It's just cool to see all the different stuff out there. I saw some really cool t-shirts. And there was a lot of DS games there too. I think DS games are starting to go up in price a lot too. Like if you love video games and you love video game collecting, like you have to go to one of these conventions sometime. Make like a trip out of it, like I did. I mean, there's just so much stuff there. There's a little bit for everybody. Or even if you're not collecting, just go to like look around. It's just cool to see the history, the different games. You can actually learn some stuff too there. Like you'll overhear vendors talking to people, or vendors will tell you something about something that they're selling and you never knew, what that was, or you didn't even know it existed. So I definitely learn some stuff every time I go to these conventions. Because even though I make YouTube videos, I don't know everything. And anyone who tells you they know everything is full of crap. So yeah, we were looking at PS1 RPGs. My brother's trying to get the complete PS1 RPG collection. He's pretty close too, actually. He has a lot of the expensive games that he bought years back for cheap. It's just like so much stuff going on at these conventions. By the end of the convention, you're just exhausted. You're tired. Here's some artwork. This guy was selling artwork. You have that at these cons too. And those are like mouse mats or play mats. I wanted to buy one, but they didn't have any like survival horror. It was all just like, you know, RPG or. All right, and here's the arcade section. They had a free to play arcade section with tons of arcade games, and you, as long as one is available, you could step up and play it. Here's pinball. They had a bunch of pinball. I'd love to have a pinball machine at the house, but they're so expensive to like upkeep. So if like something breaks, it's pricey to get it fixed. And I just think pinballs are so cool. Like all the lights flashing, and so they had a bunch of those. Had the old Doctor Who. Just some random ones. The Simpsons. I would love to have that one for sure. I love The Simpsons. And that pinball machine is so cool. Like, just look at that. It's like the town of Springfield. That looked like a truck stop. Like Lot Lizard one. Then a bunch of old school games. There was just arcades all over the place. It was really cool. I couldn't film them all, but you get an idea. There's tons of them. And the fact that it's free to play is awesome too. Dance Dance Revolution. We were hoping somebody would be on there that knew what they were doing. If you ever see like someone who knows what they're doing, it's pretty awesome. Oh, this guy right here. He was killing this thing. He he loves this game. But this game was kind of cool because you had the buttons you had to hit, and then you hit the sides and all that. It seemed like a cool game. I had no idea what was going on, but it just looks cool. Then you got this one. Then you have cosplay. There you go. I had the camera film set to my backpack strap, so I couldn't really control what I was filming. I was just hoping for the best. We were talking about Street Fighter, the movie, the game for Saturn. My brother's friend likes it. Just giving you a glimpse at everything. Lots of Pokemon stuff, of course. Pokemon's super popular always. I like the love that 360 was getting in this convention. There was a lot of 360 stuff. Really cool seeing all this old stuff that's in like pretty good condition, boxed and all that. Some stuff sealed still. The old Nintendo Game Boy case. All those Tiger handhelds and stuff, Pocket Game Boys or whatever they're called. And then here was a booth that did have, a good selection of like cheaper games. So like if you need any like filler games or if you notice any hidden gems, I always like looking through these, like I said. You never know what you're going to find. There's a lot of games I like that aren't that expensive. So to get them for cheap. Here's some more games. Wii. I expected to see more Wii. I didn't see a ton of it. There was a lot of people dressed up in Resident Evil, which was cool. A lot of people cosplaying Resident Evil characters, the old and new. Shirts. They sold a lot of shirts and pins. I bought what did I buy? I bought the Nurse from Silent Hill pin, and I bought ToeJam and Earl pin. That's on my backpack now. And here we were looking for that case to replace my cracked one. We spent a lot of time doing that. I did finally find one. It was Dracula. One of the Dracula games for PS1 has a double disc. So I bought that for $8 and then swapped the case out. I'll probably hold on to it or, sell it for $5 sometime or something just to recoup some of the money. More like bargain bin games. And these are all different stands too. So you can imagine you can spend countless hours at this, which we did. 4 hours at these conventions goes by like nothing. We had some girl dress up like Lollipop Chainsaw. I heard they're remastering that. Should be pretty cool. Game was actually fun for the little bit I played of it. Here's some more of just walking around, cosplay. Just kind of giving you a glimpse of the convention. Tons of people there. There was disc cleaner. They were selling disc cleaners. If you have a shop, you need the like heavy duty disc repair. Don't get those cheap disc repair things. Get the like $4,000 or $5,000 one. It makes so much of a difference. Like if I was gonna run a shop, I'd have to have at least that $5,000 one. This was all like import games, Japanese imports, and like English patch stuff. More of the import games here. Import or limited run or whatever, a mixture of. Pretty sure this booth is always here too. There's another booth. I don't know if it will come up on here, but it sold like strictly Japanese stuff. So it was pretty cool. The old rugs, vinyls. There was a lot of like soundtrack selling there. Vinyl and CD soundtrack selling. Some of those old soundtracks are so good. Like Wild Arms 1 soundtrack. A lot of those little like figures. I don't even know what you call them. Like just collectible figures. Here's where I bought my Resident Evil t-shirt. Yeah, we went around to the front. I needed a front view. There was a bunch of hats. I go in and out on hats. Sometimes I really am into them. Sometimes I'm not. So there's my Resident Evil shirt up there. The OG Chris and Jill. I think my brother got a Last of Us t-shirt. Here's Just Press Play, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. If you haven't been to Just Press Play, highly recommend it. I had been going there since I was a teen when I lived up in Pennsylvania. Very cool store. They actually just bought like a warehouse that they're going to have like a Nerd Heaven warehouse. So when that opens, I'm definitely going up there to check it out. Really nice guys. They brought a lot of good stuff. Just Press Play. They're usually at this convention too. And they're cool. Oh, Diablo 2 big box, the war chest or whatever, battle chest. I remember having that. It was so awesome. Diablo 2 is probably one of the best video games ever made, in my opinion. I mean, there's still people playing that now. Like I said, plenty of games, standard, special editions, imports. There's a little bit for everybody, like I said. See the 360 stuff starting to get up there in price, so they're starting to put them in the glass cases too. and more bargain bin type stuff. And by bargain bin, I don't mean crappy, just cheaper games. This guy right here was really cool. He was talking to us about what we're looking for, if he could help us out. They had a lot of cool games too. A lot of good PS1 stuff. Persona.
All right, so that was Too Many Games Video Game Convention. Hope you enjoyed it. And I had a blast. I'll probably go next year like I went the year before. I did skip one year though. I forget, it was like 2019, I think. I think COVID was going on and I just didn't get up there. There was too much going on around here and the pandemic and all that stuff. So I think I missed that year. But all the other years I've gone since 2017, I think was my first year. So I plan to go next year again. Really fun. I did get some, heavy hitters off of my list for my collection. So I got, Silent Hill 1. I got Silent Hill 1, Silent Hill 3, very good condition, complete in box. I got that. I got a new case for my Resident Evil 2, which I'm not sure if I'm going to sell it to get the black label or not. I'm still in the air about that. And then I got Code Veronica for PlayStation 2. Not the most expensive game by any means, but it was a game that I thought I had, but I didn't. So good to have that in the collection. Code Veronica is definitely a fun game. And I actually want to go through and play that again because I think I only got to the airplane part where the Tyrant was on there and I got frustrated as a kid, so I gave up on it. So I'd like to go back and try it again, play through that. What else did I get? I'm looking down because my display case is right in front of me. I got Parasite Eve for PlayStation 1. Very good condition on that one as well. I know that's more of like an RPG, but it has a creepy tone to it, so I wanted to get it, and I was able to get it for a decent price. So got that. I did trade a game for Silent Hill 3 because Silent Hill 3 has gone up in price a lot since the last convention. So I was able to trade a game for it, and that worked out pretty well because I also got, I picked up my gaming PC that my brother had made for me. So that was a big expense that I had to have. So I picked that up while I was up there, brought that back. I'm in the process of setting that up so I can stream more. And if you haven't already, I am going to be streaming within the next week or so on Twitch, and then also upload it onto my new YouTube channel, which is Surviving Horror Zero. So if you can go over and subscribe to Surviving Horror Zero, if you want to see me play through games with commentary and stuff like that, I've done that. There's already videos up on that, Surviving Horror Zero, where you can see me play through Resident Evil 1, the original. I played through Resident Evil 2, and I started Silent Hill 2. And I plan to get back on Silent Hill 2 and finish that up, and then I'll pick a game after that. I might do Dino Crisis, I think, because I've never played through that entire game. So I think I only played like the demo or whatever. But so yeah, head on over to that. Also like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And hope you enjoyed the video. It was fun. If you go next year, I hope to see you there next year. And I'll leave it at that. Enjoy your gaming for the weekend. Hopefully you'll have fun. Play whatever you want to play. Don't listen to any of the haters. Just have a good experience with gaming, and I'll see y'all in the next video.